Fred's speech is it's titled Evaluate to Motivate. And for the timer, this will be a 5 to 7 minute speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I always like to sit in the back of the room because I get more applause when I walk along the distance. The purpose of this talk is to review the basics of speech evaluation at Toastmasters and to share how this process works. It is based on a manual produced by Toastmasters International. And as you are here longer, you will realize they have a manual for just about everything. So I use this to prepare my speech. But what you'll hear from me today is my own personal take on that manual. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests. In contrast to typical speech classes, this is not a fear-based authoritarian system with an expert at the front of the room criticizing and judging us like little students. No, it's much more convivial than that. It's much more user-friendly. We are all learners. And we take turns evaluating and helping each other learn. When one of us succeeds, we all succeed. In fact, Toastmasters promise number 4 that we promise to perform when we first become members is to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations. This is essential to a successful Toastmasters club. Now, if you think about the fear of public speaking, it's really all about our concern about how we come across to others, isn't it? We don't have problems talking to the wall at home or the tree in the backyard. In fact, though, none of us appear anywhere near as frightened as we feel up here. The evaluation process by our peers helps us to really get this and believe this. We always feel better after receiving evaluation. Guaranteed. Our system is one of almost immediate feedback. The speaker is just coming down emotionally from having given the talk. It's done. Sitting, maybe quivering a little at the seat. As a student of public speaking, he or she is ready to know, tell me how I did. How did I do? How did it go? Was I okay? It's a very powerful teaching moment. So the evaluator faces that person and uses what Toastmasters calls a tell and sell approach. It's not a conversation or a debate. I look right at the speaker and tell you in 2 to 3 minutes what I thought you did well, where you could improve, and some encouragement for the future. To keep it simple, we typically use what has been called the sandwich method. First, I start out as an evaluator with what did the speaker do well, and give some concrete examples. Then, where can she improve? And finally, some encouragement about future presentations. So, good, bad, good, if you want to look at it that way. A cute little sandwich. Now, it's important to remember that evaluation is an art and a skill that can be mastered, just like public speaking can. Toastmasters has designed an entire system to help us. It's laid out in this book, and it's also laid out very nicely in our Competent Leader Manual. First, no one is asked to evaluate a speech until he or she has given a number of speeches themselves and performed a number of the functionary roles. Second, each manual for the speakers, the 10 basic speech manual, gives specific guidelines for us to follow. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel each time. We just can go right through the process that others have done before us. And third, there's some simple suggestions to follow that make this all a lot easier. First, show that you're interested. So if you're listening to the speaker, look at them in the eye. Consider the speaker's objectives. What type of speech is it? What are they focusing on? Is it body language? Is it vocal variety? And put your emphasis on that. Third, personalize your language with I statements. I like this about your talk. I didn't feel you did this quite as well. Evaluate the speech, not the content. So if you don't believe in Robin's talk on global warming and his position, that's okay. Did he present his position well? That's my role. Evaluate the speech. I said that. I'll say that again. And present the evaluation in a manner that the speaker wants to come back. So we don't use the Bobby Knight school evaluation. And for those of you who are basketball fans, he's the Indiana basketball coach who screams at his players and throws chairs across the room and gets himself fired and kicked off to another school. Nor should we whitewash a speech and say, oh, it was wonderful, everything you did was so terrific. That's not going to help the speaker learn anything. As newcomers, when we first get here, we get to prepare for this job of evaluating by doing many evaluations. The functionary roles that prepare us to be evaluators that are often not only useful, but fun. So as our counter, we get to go, ring the bell! As Brian is going to do today, I know he is. And as word master, we don't get to just safely use the word down on the table. And as timer, we get to play with the traffic light, sort of like we did in grade school as the patrol. We're back in third grade again. It's fun doing these jobs as well as we're learning how to do them. In turn, we are evaluated by how well we do each of the functionary roles. In fact, in this Competent Leader Manual, if we want to go all the way through and get our CL, we have to do 24 different functions. And we get evaluated on each one in writing by another member of the club. So we really learn how we did. In addition, the general evaluator at the end of the meeting will give us an oral report. So if we can march through our 10 required speeches and go through all 24 leader functions, every one of us is going to be a vastly improved speaker and evaluator. That's guaranteed. So when it's your turn to present your first evaluation, come up to the lectern, turn your gaze on the person that you're evaluating, serve with a smile your own homemade, delicious evaluation sandwich. Madam Toastmaster.